So as a kid growing up, I used to have this habit just up until recently, a couple of years ago, where I'd overeat. I'd be eating a lot. And once I was able to realize that I was overeating, and I had to be honest with myself, because it's really easy to lie to yourself, then I was able to make some corrections. Because I'll tell you one thing you're not going to be able to do, and then I'll tell you 3 things that you can do to change your habit from overeating to something healthier, like a balanced diet. Before we start the video, I want to introduce myself. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Michael Young, aka Forever Young. Thanks for joining us today. And for my people who are back again for another video, welcome back. If you can do me a favor, if you're new or maybe you're not even new, if you can subscribe to the channel, there should be a little subscribe button down at the bottom right below the video. Go ahead and hit that for me. Another thing that you can do is you can like the video, because what that does is it not only gives me a little bit of confidence, a little bit more excitement to even do this YouTube a little bit harder, but also what it does is helps the video get out there into the YouTube world, something with the logarithm. Last but not least, if you can comment any kind of questions, any thoughts, any opinions you have, and then turn on that notification bell just so you get an update when I drop a video. So back to story time, personal experience. I'm thinking about how can I, give my viewers some content that they can actually use. Well, I feel like a lot of people may have a difficulty trying to find a balanced habit of eating, a diet that's right for them. And this is the way that I did it. So as a young age, I didn't really grab hold of this habit until my parents got a divorce. So right around a couple of years after that, so probably around 6, 7, maybe 8. And what also was on top of that was my mom wasn't really knowledgeable, let alone the world, back in the mid-90s about health. So I was drinking cans of Sprite, juice, pancakes, no thoughts about protein. That was my diet, right? As a young kid. So fast forward to, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, kind of got chubby, cheeks got a little bit bigger, and I was picked on a little bit, ironically more so from my family and friends than people I didn't know. How funny. But yeah, so I was picked on a little bit, and what ended up happening was, I started to gain insecurities, right, with my eating habits. So fast forward, luckily I was able to get into sports, and that kind of neutralized a lot of the overeating. Middle school, high school, I was getting into basketball. I was balling a lot, ended up getting on the middle school team. From there, I got onto the high school team. So luckily, like I said, I was able to kind of watch my food. Actually, not really my food. I was still eating a lot, but what I was able to do, I was able to watch my weight a little bit more, just because I was always running, conditioning for basketball and whatnot. So after high school had ended, right, what do you do after that? I got into the weight room and got into fitness. What you think, well, Michael, doesn't fitness kind of go hand in hand with health and nutrition? Well, it does. But what ended up happening was I would be going on binges. So I would go really, really well for a certain amount of time, a couple weeks, maybe a month. And then all of a sudden I would hit a wall, and I would be binge eating for days, maybe a week at a time. And luckily, thank the universe for this body, for my metabolism, because it's fast enough to where I'm not rolling around when I walk, luckily. So one thing that I came across during my personal training journey, just my fitness journey, was intermittent fasting. Now, aside from the other properties that fasting gives you, which less aging, just better health, better skin overall, better gut health overall, What it did help me with, aside from losing weight, which that study still isn't proven, but what it did help me with was monitoring my food. And this goes into tip number 1. If you have a problem overeating, then the best and easiest way, in my opinion, is to fast. You can call it intermittent fasting, or you can just call it fasting. Basically, when you wake up, do not eat breakfast. If you can take it past lunch, don't even eat lunch. And what you really want to aim for is in between 2 to 4 or maybe even 6 hours. That is the time that you have to eat each day. So say I start eating at 3 p.m., for example, and say my eating window is 4 hours, right? Then that would mean I would have from 3 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m., easy math there, in order for me to get my food in. So with that being said, when I realized that not only was fasting helping me lose weight and get to my weight loss goals and get to my strength gain goals, but I wasn't overeating. And it wasn't really because I wasn't eating enough. It was because of the timing of the day that I chose to eat, right? So if I start eating breakfast at 6, 7, 8 a.m., 6, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning, I have lunch, I have a snack 10 a.m., I have lunch at 12. Well, by the time I get to 6 p.m. in the day, and I'm looking for some of those late night munchies, well, I've already eaten 3,000 calories, right? So then I eat another 3,000 calories, bam, I've overeaten. But when you fast, you start your eating window at 3 p.m. I start mine at 5, 6 p.m., right? There's no way I'm gonna be able to eat 4,000, 6,000 calories in 4 hours, right? So that is my number one way to prevent yourself from overeating. And I like to change how I say that. We're not preventing yourself from overeating. What we're doing is we're forming another habit beyond overeating, okay? That's my work van in the back. Shout out to the work van, Nissan, okay? Tip number 2, I hope you guys are okay with the lighting. Tip number 2, this is just with anything, okay? But tip number 2, when it comes to changing your habit from overeating to a healthy, balanced eating order. Ready? Make a plan, just make a plan. And don't make a dry, boring plan. Don't make a plan that consists of brown rice, chicken breast, broccoli. If you don't like it, don't put it in your plan. There are plenty of foods out there that you can find that you would actually like, that you'd want to put in your plan. Thus, when it's time to break your fast at 2 p.m. in the day and have your first meal, you're gonna eat something that you enjoy, because the more that you enjoy it, the longer you're gonna go with eating it, right? If I'm eating something that I don't like, how many days do you think I'm gonna be able to do that for? Not even one at this point for me, right? So it's important that you make a plan and also pick within that plan what you want to eat. It's so important, guys. You know, you don't wanna pick a plan, and this kind of branches off into another segment, which we won't go down, but we'll touch it with where are your priorities? What are you trying to go for? Are you trying to go for what's outside of you, or are you trying to go for what you truly want to be? So after you make that plan, right? Tip 2 is to make a plan. So much easier when I know A, B, C, D, not A, M, O, P, D, Z. You know what I mean? Hopefully that made sense. It probably didn't, because I feel kind of weird about saying that. So first step again, fast. I'm telling you, this is your strongest tool. You'll find when you fast, you'll find yourself going all the way to 7, 8 p.m. You'll be like, damn, I don't need to eat. And you don't have to eat if you don't want to, right? If you have a construction job the next day, I recommend you eat, because you probably need some of that fuel, right? But again, you'll be surprised how addicting fasting gets and how easy it becomes, right? So first is fast. 2 is make a plan. Last but not least, okay? This is by far one of the easiest things that you can do as well, okay? Everything just gets easier and easier, okay? After you make that plan, right, give yourself one day out of that week where you can just be free, where you can just wine and dine yourself a little bit. Because here's the thing, it's all about balance, right? You only make something a bad habit if you do it too much, right? For example, if I worked out every single day hard, 100%, I may reap some benefits, but in the long run, that's gonna break down and mess up my body, right? And mess up my mental. Well, the same thing goes when you're talking about forming some kind of fast or forming some kind of, especially a different eating habit, right? Because one, you know, everybody knows that term hangry. So you need to watch and listen to your emotion as you start to shift your diet, right? But again, I think in life, you need to reward yourself more than you think you should. So whether it be at the end of the week, whether it be at the end of the day, in the middle of the day, I think that for optimum results and making sure that you don't go, because this is what happens, a lot of people will go 2, 3, 4 weeks or months or years even. No, if you got years, you probably got it down, but you'll go, you know, half of a year. And then all of a sudden you'll hit a wall. Why? Just because what we just talked about, you tried to bite off more than you can chew. So take baby steps, reward yourself, and especially when you mess up and you eat too much or you are not happy about what you, the nutritional day you previously had, don't beat yourself up. Just learn from it and understand that, okay, I didn't like this. I didn't want that to happen. Didn't make me feel good. So what are some things that I can do now to put myself in that place? Okay, maybe I shouldn't go to that concert, or maybe I shouldn't go hang out and go out to dinner with these folks, you know, when I'm going for my goals. Maybe I should save that for the time I treat myself, right? So where there's a will, there's a way. And at the end of the day, all you have to do is use your mind, right? You just have to think about it. Don't get upset at yourself, because then that just makes it longer for you to get to where you want to be, right? So when it comes to eating, take your time, right? It's a sensitive subject just because, again, a lot of us eat just because it makes us feel good, one, but also two, we need to eat. Okay, so it's an action that constantly happens day to day. So listen to yourself. Try that fasting out. I would recommend, if you're going for a fast, I would recommend you fast for about 8 hours, or excuse me, you fast for, there's 24 hours in a day, fast for 16 of those hours. So 8 of the hours you're sleeping, the other 8, usually in the morning, you're fasting. And then those last 8 hours of the day that you're awake, that's the time that you eat. So I'd recommend you start off with an 8-hour fasting window, okay? Make a structured plan. And I don't even want to say structured because that sounds too intimidating. Make a plan that you actually want to follow. That's my cat, and I'm gonna let him know, stop. Make a plan that you actually want to follow with foods that you actually want to eat. And of course, don't just have, you know, for breakfast, I'm having pancakes and French toast. Lunch, I'm having, you know, donuts. Let's be mindful, right? You can have some fruit. Strawberries are a pretty good damn substitute for a donut. So, and then finally, you know, give yourselves those little incentives. Give yourselves those little payoff periods. You can plan them out, or you can just do them as you go. You can do them when your body's like, you wake up on a Saturday, you've had a great week of just being mindful about your nutrition. You may wake up and go, you know what? I feel like having a nice breakfast. Let's not fast today, you know? Or me, I like to save that day for Sunday, because for whatever reason, society's got me wired. Monday is, hey, let's build up some more energy. Let's build up some more good positive vibes. So hopefully this helps you guys. Again, just 3 steps to, again, we're not trying to beat overeating. We're not trying to change overeating, because that topic is always going to be relevant. What we are trying to do is shift our perception onto better eating habits, right? Balanced eating, you can use as a term. So anyways, again, I hope you liked the video. I hope you took something from it. Like the video if you liked it, if you felt the vibe. comment on the video if you got any questions. Again, guys, I have my email on here too. If you have any questions considering this topic today or anything, you know, personal questions, please feel free to ask me. Am I missing anything? Like, subscribe to the channel, okay? We're wavering 839, 840, okay? Let's get up to that 840, 850, 900, 1,000. You know where we're headed, baby. And then last but not least, turn on that notification bell. I appreciate all you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day. Peace.